Hey guys, Prowl1701, and today we're looking at Star Wars The Sequel Trilogy 3 months later. So it's been about 3 months since, or a little over, about 3.5 months since Rise of Skywalker came out, and we finished up the Disney Star Wars Sequel Trilogy. And, you know, we've kind of had time to let it gel a little bit. If I had... Well, when I first saw Rise of Skywalker, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I've still only seen it the one time, but the more I think about it, the more kind of meh it becomes. I think it's just because it's a lot better than Last Jedi, and at that point, it was like a life preserver. I'll take it. Oh, thank God it's not Last Jedi. Oh, don't let me drown. But now that I've had to time to think on it more, it's still. If I could sum up Last Skywalker, if I could sum up the Rise of Skywalker and the Star Wars sequel trilogy as a whole in one word, it would be disappointing. I just find it disappointing. I'm not mad about it. I don't hate it. I don't like it. It's just kind of there. It's just kind of I thought Force Awakens set up some good stuff, so I didn't hate Force Awakens. Unfortunately, as fans, we never really got the payoff that it set up. So retroactively, that makes Force Awakens kind of, it's just kind of. But yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm thoroughly disappointed with the sequel trilogy. I don't think it utilized the original trilogy characters as well as it could have by far. I felt like while some of them might have had some good moments, I felt like they got sidelined for new characters that had no character development. Or not enough to justify it as character development anyway. Now, you can say what you want about George Lucas's dialogue and his writing. And I'll agree that his writing isn't always the best. But his overall ideas and his character development were always on point. Even in the prequels, there's good character development. Look at Anakin. While his dialogue might be hoking and the acting might not always be, Oscar-worthy, you can see what led him to the actions that led to his downfall. It's very much a road to hell is paved with good intentions. You can see the little steps that took him there. And you can see his reasoning behind these steps. He actually has a lot of good character growth. There is a huge character arc there that we don't get in the sequel trilogy, even if it does have better dialogue. The actual writing is just worse, in my opinion. And I'm disappointed with it. And it's retroactively hurt my love for Star Wars as a whole. I've always loved a lot of different sci-fi. I love a lot of different sci-fi shows. Too many to name. Twilight Zone, all that stuff. But my big four have always been Babylon 5, Star Trek, Doctor Who, and Star Wars. My favorites being Babylon 5 for the story. Because even if Babylon 5's 90s CGI is dated, it's still got an amazing story, a really good story. And Doctor Who is just, the Doctor's the greatest of my childhood heroes. I love Doctor Who. It's a show that just constantly reinvents itself, usually in good ways. Obviously, I'm a big Doctor Who fan. But I've always liked Star Trek for its more optimistic future, or at least traditional Star Trek, for the better future it presents of everybody working together. And then Star Wars I've always liked because I think it's very character-driven, at least until recently. And it has, glowing laser swords, and I'm a huge fan of glowing laser swords. I absolutely love the thing. Because I like swords. I'm a huge fan of Thundercats and the Sword of Omens, King Arthur and Excalibur. So you're giving me a sword with a laser blade that glows with different colored ones? Oh, I'm in. You got me. I'm sold right there. So yeah, I love Star Wars, but my favorite thing about Star Wars is the lightsabers, no lie. But Star Wars is kind of taking a back seat to the others now. I find myself not nearly as enthusiastic. Like, even some of the expanded universe, I didn't like some of the directions they went sometimes, but for the most part, I liked the EU and what's now Legends stuff. I loved the books. Some of the best Star Wars stories ever made have been in the books. I love the Thrawn trilogy, Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, Last Command. They're amazing. The Jedi Academy trilogy, good stuff. Spectres of the Past, Visions of the Future, good stuff. Kyle Katarn in general, good stuff. But I find myself so disinterested in Star Wars. Like, for instance, I have my DVDs right here. This is my original trilogy case that I got in 2004. It's that gold case with all three of them in it. And then I have my episodes 1, 2, and 3 right here. You know something else? You can't really see them. And I used to have them predominantly in front. Predominantly in front where you could see them because I'm a proud Star Wars fan. Now they're just kind of behind here, you know. Got them tucked back behind my cool Doctor Who stuff. Just kind of back there. Let's put that out of the way. We don't need to show people that. That might be like, oh, you're a Star Wars fan, huh? Isn't that the one with like the Rey girl? Ooh. So we keep those back there where you can't see them. And I noticed the other day, I was thinking about selling off some of my DVDs and Blu-rays, you know, taking them, trading them in, whatever. Just to kind of free up some room. And I thought for a second, I could get rid of my Star Wars stuff. I don't ever watch them, really. Yeah, I could take my episodes 4, 5, and 6 and my episodes 1, 2, and 3, trade those in, get a little bit for them. I don't watch them. Then I realized what I was thinking, and I was like, whoa. Wow. Because a lot of the stuff I collect because I like to have it. Like my Doctor Who stuff, the original series, the classic series box sets, and my cool steel books, my limited edition, like steel books and stuff like that. You know, I own those because I like to watch them, of course, but I also own them because I like to have them. I love having them on the shelf. I love the way this looks on the shelf, the way this looks on the shelf. I love the way these look on the shelf. Well, I'm like that. I'm a collector. You know, I keep Transformers and Thundercats and He-Man. I like the way that stuff looks on the shelf. I have a whole Mega Man wall over here with just Mega Man stuff on it because Mega Man's my favorite gaming franchise. So I'm really big on displaying things I like and having them just to have them. Like a lot of my Mega Man stuff or my, you know, the NES games, the Super Nintendo games, I don't even have a working NES or Super Nintendo. I own them to display them because I can play them, you know, on other media now. And so I'm like that even with my Star Wars stuff. Naturally, my lightsabers, I tend to display my lightsaber replicas and stuff. I have 2 of them mounted on walls over here, flanking my bedroom door. And to realize that I was thinking about selling them really opened my eyes to just how far my interest in Star Wars has fallen the past few months, definitely the past couple years, since Last Jedi came out. Like, I never saw Solo. And if you had told me, like, 5 years ago that they would release a Star Wars movie in theaters and that I would be like, I would have been like, nah, man, I got to be there for that. Day one, it's a Star Wars movie, I got to be there. Now, you know, when Solo got announced, it was after I saw Last Jedi and Solo was coming out, I was like, And I still haven't watched Solo. I can watch Solo for free on Disney Plus. It's not worth it. I have no interest to see that movie. Now, all hope is not lost. There is a new hope, so to speak. That's The Mandalorian. I do still love The Mandalorian. I thought season 1 of The Mandalorian was great. I think it was the best thing to come out in Star Wars in a long time. I'm very excited about season 2 of The Mandalorian, and I really wish that was out right now with everything going on in the world and everybody kind of stuck inside. I would have loved to be able to binge season 2. But I am happy that we have season 1. I've actually thought about reviewing The Mandalorian episodes. Somebody mentioned that back when I was reviewing and ranking my Star Wars movies. They wanted me to review The Mandalorian. If that's something y'all would be interested in, me doing reviews for each episode of The Mandalorian, let me know. Post down in the comments. I'll be glad to do reviews of that. Give them a rewatch and do reviews of that for you guys. So, Star Wars is not quite dead to me. I still love lightsabers. I still have some faith that Disney can learn from their mistakes because The Mandalorian is truly amazing. Well cast, well shot, well acted. I'm curious to see what season 2 brings. And I'm hoping that perhaps one of these other movies they're doing might jump into Knights of the Old Republic territory because we've been seeing some stuff with Revan lately. Revan seems to be prevalent in the media lately. So I'd either love to see a new TV show, a new movie, or perhaps a Knights of the Old Republic remake, or Knights of the Old Republic 3, or a Knights of the Old Republic reboot. Something like that I'm still very excited for. But the sequel trilogy has done a lot to kind of tarnish Star Wars for me, and I have found it to be very disappointing overall. Anyway, I'm Probable1701. This has just been my thoughts on the Star Wars sequel trilogy 3 months later. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, click that bell for notifications. You know you want to. And check out my other channel, Another Sci-Fi Guy, where I review other sci-fi related content like Babylon 5 and Doctor Who. Just got our Doctor Who review up for the Faceless One Steelbook with the second Dr. Patrick Troughton. And most importantly, as always, thank you for watching.